Hey, YouTube family, this your guy DJ Bliss One. Thank you for watching another episode of I Smoke Hip Hop Live. So we got a situation with Deion Sanders Jr. He just got into a back and forth with Danny Kanell that kind of left distasteful situations towards the media right now. And it's kind of a firestorm that's kind of getting big and bigger and bigger. But if you don't know what happened, is Danny Kanell said some statements towards Deion's family and Deion Jr. So that made Jr. respond in a not so tasteful way. And you know what I'm saying? It kind of made things go left. So on one hand, we know Deion Jr. that is representation of his father. He has to walk in a certain life. On another hand, you got Danny Kanell, former Florida State quarterback, didn't really reach the higher ranks of the NFL like that when he was there. Journeyman at best, I maybe even at that, but a lot of back and forths are going on with this one. So what I feel like we should do is just read on it first before we give our opinions. So let's read on some of the things and was said. So the assistant coach who recently was stripped of his play calling. Oh, my bad. We're on Sean Lewis right now. My apologies. I did that on the last video. But what you're seeing here is the back and forth exchange. Let's look at that before we read any of the details of that. So on one, you got Danny Kanell who said, "Hey, Junior," at Deion Sanders Jr., "congratulations on 4 wins in a year. One, some advice for..." Basically, I'm reading 3 screens. Let me just read this one here. He says, "Some advice for year 2. Stop writing checks your little bros can't cash." Damn, bruh. Yeah, Danny sounds like a hater, right? Like, why all these analysts taking all this personal? Like, I don't know. It just seems weird that everybody all of a sudden became like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Colorado became their enemy number 1 for some unseen reason. We know what it is, but let me keep reading. He says, "Clean up your language. I'm sure your daddy doesn't approve. When you lose, say little. When you win, say less." I actually agree with that last part. When you win, say little. When you lose, when you lose, say little. When you win, say less. I agree with that. But let's keep reading it. Because Junior told him, "You are a pure..." I gotta fast forward that part, but Junior called him out of his name, basically called him female tendencies. And then Junior told him, "Y'all stop going back and forth with these people. We lost 8 games. Let them talk they ish. We'll bounce back. And now that the season is over, they have no choice but to watch us win. Every time they watch TV and get on social media, they gonna see us winning and running it up." I like his confidence in that. But, he called Danny a pure hoe. But, Danny Kanell, let me just be real and be honest with y'all. Let's not even sugarcoat and beat around the bush with this. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Danny Kanell is playing a wild game of, victim and all that. I'm going to be fair on both sides. On one hand, let's stick to Deion Jr. right now. You're the representation of your father. Your father got a lot of enemies because he's a melanated brother who's winning in life, and he's very braggadocious, and he's very not flamboyant, but how you call that word that they don't like? In the comment section, put the word I need to articulate that y'all know what I'm looking for. But he shows you when he wins. You know what I mean? And people don't like that for some reason. Guys like Danny is feeling uncomfortable with that win. But before we get with him, Junior got to remember, you're going to give people ammunition to use against your pops, bro. It's certain adequate ways you got to go about things now that y'all the face of, college football. This ain't back on the block in Texas, none of that. And this ain't your pops being in Fort Myers, Florida. You're playing a national game with people who play nothing but, duck, goose type activity games out here. So you gave people who hate your father and don't like you ammunition to use all this against you, especially when you call that man a hoe. But I understand it though. And with Danny I don't get guys like him. All of a sudden, you're paying attention to Colorado football. You've never spoke about them. You don't even give them traction highlights, and none of the companies you work for, not Trash, ESPN, and definitely not Fox News. All of a sudden, it's been thousands of you journalists who have comprised and conspired together to be against one man. it just seemed kind of wild to me because it's not far-fetched to say this is bigger than just a coach versus the media. It's bigger than Colorado, Buffaloes versus Danny and these other pundits. I think it is an issue of how Deion looks. He looks like me and many people who looks like us. Certain other people don't like it at all, and it shows. For you to go back and forth, and then you're bringing like if you're gonna criticize Deion Jr., stick to that. But you're saying checks, your little bros can't. You basically just diss both of his little brothers. Like Shador didn't say nothing to you. The other little brother didn't say nothing to you. Like it's like you're a grown man that's 50 something years old. Act your age, Danny. I expect Deion Jr. to act his age too. Trust me. That's why I started off. You're a representation of your father. There should be accountability held for Junior for him just going off like that because it's unprofessional. But you, Danny, you're way older. You've been in the national limelight for the last 30 something years. Act accordingly, bruh. That's wild. That's why it tells me this is way deeper than football. It has everything to do with dudes' shallow egos. Egotistic egos, bruh. Frail insecurity issues at that, bruh. Like, it bothers people to see men like Deion Sanders winning. So when Deion was winning, they still criticize him. Now he's losing, they criticize him even more on top of that. So there was nothing Prime could have done to bring it towards his favor. It was always going to be one side versus another side. You can't get over that. I looked at the process and I seen the situation, and it is what it is. You got a lot of haterade going on amongst the ranks of these media and these failed quarterbacks, i.e. Danny Kanell and these pundits. I'm not making excuses for Deion. I got videos criticizing Deion as well. I'm a fair guy. I'm non-biased. But when I look at Danny, I'm not even contributing this to a Colorado thing or a Deion Sanders Jr. thing. I'm contributing this to a deeper issue that caused pain to a lot of people in places through colonization and all that. We're not going to get into that because people are going to say you're playing victim. How am I playing victim if I'm not a victim? No, I'm not. I'm just telling you it is what it is. It goes deeper than football. Too many things have been said and shown that it's deeper than football. And no matter how much time and time over again, another one is added on that list of not just a hater, but an enemy all of a sudden. Someone who goes way off to the deep end on their criticism of one coach, while another coach who have failed miserably but has a bigger name than Deion as far as coaching, yet they don't get the same criticism. And I've noticed that. They've reserved their comments as far as it's an unspoken code that they're all going by. Because most people in this world go by a code of ethic that's of nature, not of any other law out there. So it is a code they're sticking to. And it is what it is at the end of the day, man. Look, man, but Deion Jr., you need to be much better than that. Your well-off media channel is a booming success because on the behalf of your work ethic and your father and those great men at Colorado in Boulder. So you need to take heed to this right here. Yes, while telling us we shouldn't pay attention to the haters, you should take your own dose of medicine as well, because believe it or not, these haters are going to be here to the end. Even long after your father is no longer coaching, they will criticize and critique to make sure no accolades is being given to Prime Time. Look, man, I'm DJ Bless One, man. Love your family, love your kids, stay blessed. Let me know in the comment sections how you think about this, how you feel about this, who's in the wrong, who's in the right. Let us know, man. Peace.